about Mike Leach.
I had that question too.
No doubt, right? But it's kind of unavoidable because he's such a giant character in the sport of college football, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what is he like technically? Like we see all the fun stuff and the pirate and all, whatever. But as far as like as a technical football coach, when y'all are in meeting rooms and stuff, what is Mike Leach like? What's it like to play for him?
It's just football. You feel me? When he talking about football, he's stuck on football. Sometimes he can get off subject, and when he get off subject, he get off subject for a while. But at the end, it has something to do with football. So it all come right back to football.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What I love to ask this question to a lot of guys whenever I get a chance to sit with them on Radio Row. Personal goals and then team goals. So I mean, you're a fifth-year guy now. I mean, you've been through like just in your career. Just if you think of especially sandwiching your career around that weird COVID year, right? I mean, you've just been through a lot in your career. So now that you're back for a fifth season, and your state has had progressions throughout your time, what is like a personal goal for you for this season? Have you set them? Do you write them down?
I mean, we took some goals down, but I really them really weren't my personal goal. It was more like team goals.
Yeah.
Like how to better the team, how to be a leader on the team.
Yeah.
And just make every other player better around me.
What are team goals for the season?
Team goals. Our number one team goal is go 1-0 each week.
Okay.
Coach Leach preach on it every day. Our strength and conditioning coaches preach on it every day, going 1-0, winning the reps. Really just about competition at Mississippi State, working hard, and
have you? Because you're from Alabama.
Yeah.
Did you grow up an Auburn fan?
Yeah.
Did you really?
You the first one that got that right.
You grew up an Auburn fan. I'm glad I got it right.
Yeah.
I had a lot of the periphery stuff, but you grew up an Auburn fan? Did you get recruited by Auburn?
Yes, I had got an offer from. That was like my first offer.
Was it tough on your family, like for you to not go?
I mean, not really, because my family, they was behind me with any decision I made, and when it came to Mississippi State, they had showed my family real life. It was like real life family over there.
Yeah.
So I just felt like I was back at home. And I feel like I'm still at home out there. So
you know what, man? This is the first time in the history of my show, and I went to LSU.
Oh, yeah.
First time in the history that I've been outnumbered by Mississippi State people. The River's behind you.
Yeah.
She's a Mississippi State. She's from Starkville and is a Mississippi State alum. I just said this is the first time in my show career I'm outnumbered by Mississippi State people. Like the first time ever. So what's it like living in Starkville?
It's just amazing.
He said it's amazing.
It's amazing. You can be ducked off, and then everybody know everybody around it. Got great food places. So really about the barbecue and eating.
Yeah, man.
So yeah.
I hear you. Are you looking forward to playing in Baton Rouge this year?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a night game.
You know what? Because 2020 was obviously the COVID. It was the season opener, and
yeah.
I mean, golly, what was that game like? I mean, when
hot.
It's hot, but your quarterback threw for 600 yards.
That was crazy. I didn't know nothing about that until after the game. Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
It was not the most fun game from an LSU perspective to watch.
Fans?
No, it was not. But I think we probably will see on a night game in Tiger Stadium this year, and hopefully the atmosphere is a little better than we saw back in 2020. I wish you all the best, man. Thanks for spending a couple minutes with us today. I hope you enjoyed your day over here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
That's our pleasure. That's Nathaniel Watson. We appreciate him spending a couple minutes with us here. Mississippi State senior linebacker. It is after further review. We're live from Radio Row. The commissioner, Greg Sankey, set to join us here in just a quick moment. We will continue here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days.
AFR.
AFR, as always, brought to you by our friends at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. As I mention all the time, expanding healthcare in the Baton Rouge area. Learn more online at brgeneral.org. If it's the Mid-City location where they reopened their emergency room, if it is the Bluebonnet campus, of course, with the Pennington Cancer Center
30.
there. I mentioned the Mid-City location where their burn center is the burn center in our region. The Ascension Neighborhood Hospital as well. So if you're in Ascension Parish, you've got your own emergency care
15.
there in Ascension Parish as well. It is, of course, the urgent care locations for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org to learn more. brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital, expanding healthcare in Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning.
Live from the 2022 SEC Football Media Days, presented by Hudco Roofing. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, it's our pleasure to have the commissioner of the SEC, Greg Sankey, join us. Thank you, as always, for the time in doing this. You certainly don't have to, but you make yourself very available, and we do appreciate it.
No, it's good to have you here, and I appreciate the opportunity for a conversation. Alexandria brings me back to my days in Natchitoches before I-49 was really connected all the way through. We're playing out in Alexandria.
How then did you get south if there was no I-49? What path would you take?
First time I did it, it was Highway 1. Actually drove that from Natchitoches to Baton Rouge, and then, I moved from upstate New York and drove Highway 1 from Shreveport down to Natchitoches, and then Natchitoches down into Baton Rouge. And then, 49 kind of dumped you off north of Alexandria. You can get on in Natchitoches, but then it ended abruptly.
Watch out for the speed trap in Krotz Springs. You just got to look out for that one.
And Coshada when you're headed north on Louisiana.
Nice casino there in Coshada. Get the olds, you get some old rock. You'd appreciate
Powhatan. I'm sorry, Powhatan.
Okay.
Which is, I was like, Coshada Camp, a casino. Powhatan. Coshada was a different place,
yeah. Are you going to catch any of the big games week 1 in person?
Yeah, so we'll start on a Thursday at Missouri. So Tennessee and Missouri both open on the Thursday. I was in Knoxville last year opening night. Try to catch parts of 2 on Saturday, so Oregon, Georgia here, Utah, Florida, and Gainesville, and then Sunday head over to New Orleans for FSU LSU.
We'll see you there. Well, do you like how busy that week 0 and week 1 are with the way a lot of neutral sites and the way that it's started to become a big kickoff of college football?
Absolutely. I'd love to see us play Thursday like we do Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday.
Yeah.
I think that's an opportunity before the NFL begins play to present ourselves on an undisrupted stage and really be distinctive in featuring SEC teams. Now, there's a lot that goes into that moving, but there are a couple of years where I've gone Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday, and that's pretty cool.
That is really good. It's not a bad gig when you just get to go travel around and watch.
That's a good weekend because they're non-conference games and usually not my officials for people to be mad about. So
that is actually
last relaxation.
Well, it is always interesting though because like you have to watch the game through a different lens and a different perspective, and that does make a lot of sense. Everyone's been asking obviously about schedule. If you don't want to deal in hypotheticals, I understand. Is there any sense though of when we might have an answer?
No.
What about?
Well, there is. It's not going to linger forever. And I said this, we were poised to make a decision in Destin. But then there are questions that come up. And in fact, what's happened this summer has likely created more questions when we come together. Wanting to understand how many games others are going to play. What's the college football playoff going to look like? And then we have our internal issues. Like if you play in a single division format, which has momentum, how do you break ties when people don't meet up head-to-head? And so it's easy to say, well, you should have a single division. But we've had a luxury for over a quarter century that there always is a head-to-head impact and a tiebreaker, and that's comfortable. What if that's not there? And so we're working through that technicality. We're also trying to understand the impact of 8 versus 9 games on postseason opportunities, whether it's just bowl game access or some hypotheticals, since you identified the word, around how many teams might be in a college football playoff.
Just to elaborate, you're not going to go to 9 games where you're guaranteeing half of your league has an extra loss if the playoff doesn't expand. Because you lessen your opportunity.
I wouldn't go that absolute. I think we're going to have our eyes open to that. But that's for our membership to decide. We'll present the realities. But that wouldn't be – I would not say absolutely no.
Okay. So what teams are coming in next, right? I mean, you got your list, don't you? Where's the invite list?
I don't keep lists in writing. We're focused on our expansion to 16. That obviously broke last year this week.
It broke literally right before you sat down with us.
Was it? Okay.
No,
so I forget. I know it was Wednesday afternoon.
There's no way you would remember it. You do a million. I get it. But it was like it broke, and then you came and sat with us.
I said, I'm not going to comment on what people are going to do.
About what you said.
And then things escalated quickly from there.
They did, in fact. Greg Sankey's with us here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. So expansion is obviously something that everybody's talking about. Do you feel – I feel – that we are headed for an inevitability at some point to where we will just have one college football, that where the collective conferences, however you want to label it, will all band together with their media rights and go sell college football. Am I wrong?
I don't know that you're right because you have to break down the economics and the opportunities around that type of decision making, and then you have to back it into a cultural impact. And so I think part of our reality is, even as we've expanded with Arkansas and South Carolina first, and then with Texas A&M and Missouri, and coming with Texas and Oklahoma, we've really continued to enhance our culture. I've been in some other cities, and I won't name the programs, where they've got major universities and they have Division I football programs, and you're like, wow, this isn't us. This isn't us. And so you think about the connection that our local community, so in our conversation, Baton Rouge has to LSU. And then you expand that to the state. So I lived in Natchitoches, and all you heard about was LSU. I was working in Northwestern State, and it was about LSU. And then the region, Florida and LSU going to play. Alabama and LSU. That's a big game. The history of Ole Miss and LSU. The boot in Arkansas and LSU. What's happened with A&M and LSU.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, and what can happen in others. What are you going to trade that for? Utah.
I just want good football.
Yeah, and I think we provide that, and we do that in a context that works. So I think there's a lot more that says, I'm not convinced you're right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you're wrong,
Okay.
but I'm not convinced you're right.
You did mention Florida and LSU, which is interesting because I was reminded of this. Early in your tenure, there was the Florida LSU Hurricane Matthew spat that got very public and very ugly. No, but we have referenced it because of what happened recently with Nick and Jimbo, and I know it's always been this idea with the conference. Hey, look, like a family, say what you have to say behind closed doors, but publicly want to express a unified front. Was that difficult for you with what happened with Nick and Jimbo?
It certainly wasn't an enjoyable experience. I was in New York City at a Sports Business Journal Award event where I was nominated, the league was nominated, and we didn't win, so I was bummed. I was going to an after party, and I think Herb received the first indication that something might have happened. But, it's 11 o'clock at night, and then, it just ruins your night, ruins your day. You're trying to figure out how to manage because you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Had a conversation with Jimbo. He's really respectful to me, but highly frustrated by what was said. Nick was very direct. I shouldn't have done it. Told him that was going to be a reprimand publicly. And then, it kind of went further from there. So reprimanded both. And then you fast forward to Destin. Everyone was expecting this. I don't know what they expected, but Jimbo is our chair this year. Rotates through. Did a great job leading really deep conversations. The people in the room participated, and you kind of see the moving forward. But October 8th will be a big day.
Yes, that's. I mean, we can all look at the CBS schedule and know what the night game is going to be.
I go back, to the Hurricane game. That's one of the most difficult circumstances that I dealt with. You and I talked about it when we were at media days. I remember you said, "Hey, I don't want to make you uncomfortable." I said, "You ask me what you need to ask me, and I'll be as open and honest as you can." And you try to learn from those experiences. You can't control the weather, but that just played out in a really difficult circumstance.
No, I've always respected your candor and your time. Do you? By the way, one year we sat together. Actually, it was when LSU was at the SC Championship, and Ross Dellinger joined us. Do you miss Delly? He's not here to ask all his booze questions this week.
I guess he's big time, working some big time deal. And it's the first time in like 14 or 15 years he hasn't been able to attend. We've had it.
I'm sure he'll be fine with
just
whatever.
Call him big time from now on.
Texas and OU, I know the question about will they come early. That's strictly financial. It's an $80 million buyout. Yeah, I mean, is it?
That's for them. There are two elements. One is departure under whatever bylaws they have and notification, and then their grant of rights, and that's between those universities and their conference.
So, what would it is the SEC's ability to negotiate with your TV partners? Like, are you able to do that before Texas and OU formally come into the league on a new deal? Because that would have to be renegotiated.
We're really good at preparing in advance. We've learned some lessons from the past. And Burke Magnus talked about presetting, how we'd manage this situation. And that was in a New York Times article back in January. So we set some parameters around how growth could add. Are there things to come? Sure, and there's a lot of work that's been done already.
Okay. Greg Sankey, SEC Commissioner. I could keep you all day, but I'm going to be very respectful of your time and say thank you very much for joining us as always. And I'll send my regards to Ross.
Does that mean I'm done? Did you get the signal?
Well, I mean, I can keep asking questions. Do you remember the last time we were here? You might remember this. We were in there, the Omni.
Yeah, way far away.
And it was the end of your day. And we had you scheduled for a segment. And Catherine was giving us the wrap, and you're like, I got nothing to do. I'll just hang out. And we ended up doing, I think, like 45 minutes.
Really?
Yes.
How are your ratings? Through the roof, or do we tank them?
Are you kidding me? Like, you get the commissioner for 45 minutes just to sit and keep saying, I'll do another one.
So
does he have anything next?
One of the great Herb Vincent. This is a tribute to Herb Vincent, right?
Okay.
He says, look, people get to decide whether they like you or not in this role. Like, I had snapped at somebody at a press conference. That's why I did it yesterday to a Wall Street Journal reporter, and I disrupted her question, and I felt badly because you get to decide you know, whether you like me or not, I'm not asking you to be my best friend, but I can at least respect what you do by being here and give you time. Now I have to keep moving, but I'm happy to have the conversation. I mean, I don't like all the questions, but I'm happy to have the conversation.
Well, look, when I was young and this Mike's Live was that was incredibly impactful because I got to watch him do this with Catherine, and like it was just so impressive that he just talked to everyone all the time. And I mean, obviously you've had those experience working with him, you know, prior to in the role that you are now. Let me ask you about Brian Kelly. What have been your impressions of how he's assimilated into the league so far?
Highly positive. His contributions at both of our meetings were really high-level leadership contributions, which we have that from a lot of different people, but great to see walking in. You know, he and I spoke really early on, the question about whether the team could actually make it to the Texas Bowl. I appreciate, I was here talking to him the night before our championship game. I truly appreciate that effort. You know what? I respect those guys that were in Houston that night, because of any game all season, that was a group of 70 guys total, scholarship and walk-on, who wanted to play college football.
It might not even been that many.
Yeah, well, we forget and all the things about opt-outs and draft positioning and do they go, do they stay. People like to want to play.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, when we were going through hurry up in the end of that game, like just get it going. I was standing in the end zone for the last touchdown, and we should replicate the joy that was present among those guys on LSU's team. Yeah, the offensive lineman that set the record for the most games played, right?
Austin Deculus, yes.
Yeah. How cool, because we tried.
Yeah.
Because we tried. And I look back on 2020, and I have respect because people tried. And so Brian and I talked through that. Scott Woodward was great. I mean, it was stressful because you go through those transition moments. We had COVID popping back up, but really earned a lot of respect. And a long time ago, there's a writer who's here who, when Brian took the Notre Dame job, said he's going to get it done. And so I've admired what he's done. And they performed consistently well. They played in the 2012 BCS championship game, 2 CFP semifinals. And that's a tribute to his leadership. So I really look forward to the future. And, you know, he and I both have to work on our dance moves. I acknowledge that at the beginning of the press conference yesterday. But really positive addition.
Is the accent, the dance move stuff, was that – because in Baton Rouge there was none of the criticism, but you can understand there's a honeymoon period. But do you get the sense that was just some of like you're an outsider, so people took their shots? It was odd.
Yeah, no.
But I'm looking through a different prism.
So I moved to Natchitoches, right? And I walk in, and I was in charge of the tickets, the admissions, the complimentary admissions we give to the student athletes. And so I walked into the AD's office and I said, I'm ready to handle the complimentary admissions. Because where I grew up in New York, if you go to like K through 5, how do you say that? That's a what kind of school? K through 5.
Elementary?
Yeah, I would say, I used to say elementary. You pronounce every syllable. And I go back up there and I'll bring friends from the South up there and we'll have somebody waiting on us and I'll ask whoever's waiting on us, hey, do you have kids? And they're like, yeah. Do they go to like school? Okay, K through 5, and they'll nail it every time. And I said, when I made that trip on Highway 1, I was driving from Natchitoches to New Orleans.
Oh yeah,
right. And at the end of dinner, I had a pecan pie.
No.
So we all have to pivot. I still struggle with, like, we crossed. This is like, you can replay this is greatest hits. Yeah, we're driving a rental truck across I-20. We go through Monroe, and I look at my wife and said, "Hey, we just crossed the Ouachita River."
No, you didn't.
You know, I have empathy.
Catherine wrote it down.
I have that story was coming out anyway. I have.
She knows you too well.
I
by
thought,
this point.
yeah, I'm like,
did you not think I was?
Why are we worried about?
Did you not think I was going to do that?
Why are we worried about how Brian pronounced family or? I mean, it's just, but that's part of being in the SEC, and that's what I respect about people who take these jobs, is they've watched from the outside and they want to be a part of it because it's special. And yep, it's intense and there's not a free moment. I talked to a coach who left our league who said it was at a bowl game. Said, "Man, we had a great night. I got to ask for one autograph. I was at my old job. I would have had no peace and quiet." So I respect people who want to step up, and it comes with that kind of noise. Sure. But you know, it's a little bit of the. It's the background noise, nonsense, but it also is what makes us what we are.
Okay, last thing. What keeps you up at night?
There's a lot. I mean, I've slept really well the last few weeks through this conference expansion, thinking about how we build our culture. So as we add and people come from someplace else and come in and they're a part of this, the amount of change we've had with ADs, presidents, and chancellors, making sure we have that culture, top of the list. You know, what's great is like Scott Woodward had been in the league at A&M, but he'd been in the league when he was at LSU, went up to Washington. President Tate was at South Carolina for a short time as provost, so they understand us. That's enormously helpful. You know, there's just issues. What's the future going to look like? And you have to be comfortable with discomfort. The COVID experience made me a lot more sophisticated with who I am, if you will, which is you're not going to be able to relax. You're not going to have a life like you could go take 2 weeks of vacation in Europe and nobody'd bother you, whatever, whoever does that. That just
sounds good.
It's going to be constantly on your mind, and the role keeps me up at night. All of it.
Greg Sankey.
That's the job, by the way. No complaints.
Well said. Thank you as always for your time.
Yep, thank you, man.
It's AFR from Radio Row. We'll continue.
AFR.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
For over 53 years, customers have been heading to Happy Town for the Corval Toyota experience. Why? Because they choose to get an outstanding price and amazing customer service. Want the same and get treated like family? Then Corval Toyota in Opelousas is the dealership for you. Corval vehicles have been cruising around Acadiana for 5 decades. Corval Toyota is here to stay, and we want to keep you rolling. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
At Rejuvame, we specialize in medically monitored hormone replacement therapy, giving you the energy you need for all life's challenges. We can help get your day started. 1, 2, 1, 2.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Hutco Roofing. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We continue from Radio Row. Our coverage all week presented by Hutco Roofing, HutcoRoofing.com. Very pleased to be joined by a guy who in SEC football circles really doesn't need an introduction. Longtime assistant at Tennessee, of course, head coach at Ole Miss and Duke. It is David Cutcliffe, who is now the special assistant to the commissioner for football relations?
Yeah, Dwight Schrute. Just call me Dwight Schrute.
It's such a good reference. He just gave us an Office reference. That was so good.
Yeah, I mean, just tell it like it is,
That's
right?
so good. Why did you leave coaching?
Well, I was forced out at Duke, unfortunately, and I didn't know what I was going to do. You know, that was a bummer after 14 years, and so when you're asked to leave suddenly, things change fast. So I was really looking at the NFL. I really wasn't interested in being anybody's analyst. I mean, come on, I've been doing this too long to not be a, quote, decision maker. So the NFL kind of came calling. Couldn't find the right people. I've always told young people, you choose people, not places. And then Commissioner Sankey called, and he hit me with this idea, and I said, well, can I sit down with you? I said, I can't do this over the phone. I'd like to get face-to-face. So they flew me down to Birmingham. I met the staff. He has surrounded himself with great people. I'm passionate about college football and all the things that, all these opportunities that are complex but lie in front of us. Things that are successful evolve and change, but they evolve and change well. And I knew a coach's perspective administratively would be kind of something new. And maybe it was timely, the right time for it. So I said, what the heck? I'm going to do that. And I've enjoyed the football relations. I mean, I'm talking to coaches collectively. I'm talking to coaches one-on-one. These guys are friends of mine. I respect them deeply. I'm trying to represent them. I'm talking to the football operations people one-on-one. Those people know more than what's going on. They know the coach's problems day-to-day, what's happening with the players. You go in and you go to a school. I go to the equipment room.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys know what's up,
Yeah.
you know. And so I'm doing something that I don't think's been done before, which is kind of fun.
Could you see yourself coaching again, like on the sideline?
Well, I'd hate to tell the commissioner yes, but, I mean, he knows that it's in my blood. It's all I've ever done.
And you moved to Birmingham.
I'm in.
Yeah, you're in.
I am. I'm in Birmingham. I have a daughter that moved there, so I'm around 3 grandchildren there. My son is the head high school football coach at Oxford, Mississippi High School.
Okay.
So they're close. He's got 5 little boys. And so right now we're happy. And now, again, I will tell you, I choose people, not places. And so who knows what people may come along in your life. I'll put it that way. And I love to coach as a head coach. I love being an offensive coordinator. I love being a quarterback coach. I love that one-on-one relationship. I turned down a lot of NFL jobs, and not reluctantly, but, you know, it'd been fun to have a guy 10, 11, 12 years. That would have been, oh, man, you know, what could you have accomplished? But, you know, 4 or 5 was enough, I guess.
Yeah. And David Cutcliffe is our guest. I mean, it's no secret how close you are to the Mannings. I mean, we're on in New Orleans. Arch everyone's known his name now for 5 years. He hasn't even taken a college snap.
God bless him, right?
Right.
You know.
But their family has really done. You know the family far better than I do, but they've done a fantastic job of handling that.
Terrific.
How? If I asked you though, as a quarterbacks coach, what like if you were recruiting him today, what do you see in a prospect?
Him, you know. Let's just talk specifically him. I'm looking for accuracy, which a guy like Arch has. I hate to pick on him, but it's kind of what we're getting to. I also like, and I know him well, I like decisive young men that, like, can order off a menu. I mean, and it takes somebody 5 minutes to decide what they want. They're not going to play quarterback. I mean, you got 3.5 seconds max, right? You know?
That's a good line.
I like people that failure doesn't phase, because you're going to fail at quarterback, and everybody knows it when you fail. An offensive lineman may miss a block. A defensive player at times can miss a interior tackle or leave a gap open. And, you know, people aren't sure if a linebacker played poorly. A corner is on that island often, but every play a quarterback is graded by the fan base, by the media. If you don't know how to fail, it's kind of like really good baseball players. You know, if you hit 350, that's 35% of the time you get a hit. You're a Hall of Famer. Well, you're a guy that knows how to fail and not it affect you. So I've always watched that. I've tried to look at a highlight reel of bad plays followed by the next play they play, if that makes sense. I don't know if there's anybody else that does that, but it's pretty telling.
You would actually have a reel?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
so that you're saying that all checks out for Arch?
Yes. He is, they had a rough game in the championship game.
Yeah. It's high school football.
But it didn't phase him. It made him more determined, which is, you know, that's what you want to see. I often compare them like with a quarterback and managing them and a specialist, a place kicker. They're kind of like closers. If a guy blows a save, you can't berate him. You can't. That's a good one right there.
Shane Beamer just came and
tapped me on the shoulder.
Coach on the shoulder. Did you see his TikTok today, by the way?
No, I did. That's pretty good, huh?
My wife said it too. My wife doesn't know. She doesn't know football. Doesn't know. She goes, "Who is this coach? I love him." I'm like, "That's very." See, it's a very smart play.
Well, it is, and with young people today, that's spot on.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if they want me doing anything like that. But
actually, when we go to break, you and we're doing a TikTok.
Okay, we got it. But you know, I think Arch has a great opportunity to be surrounded by good players, a program with a lot of rich tradition. He's not directly, not just yet, and even period, it's not a rival of Ole Miss. It's not a rival of Tennessee. If you pick the traditional SEC school, then you're picking opposite of either one of those two. Sure. So, and I haven't asked him. I stayed out of it. But when my wife asked me about it, I said, it makes sense to me. They're going to be in the SEC, which is important to him, but they're not. He's not betraying anyone, if that makes sense.
That's a tough thing for a kid to weigh either way. To think to use the word, you think you're betraying a family or a fan base. That's tough. But look, I mean, obviously, you recruited Eli as well. We're a little short on time. I hope I have one more for you. I hope at some point during the season, though, you'll be willing to come back on the show.
Sure, we can do that.
I mean, Coach, you're a guy, like, just talking to you for the last 10 minutes, I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours. I would probably bore you to death, but just listening to you is fascinating. But I would like to ask you about a bad memory, but it was such an amazing game, which was 03 LSU Ole Miss. You're shaking your head.
Yeah, I mean, it was. We had a great kicker. Jonathan Nichols was the Groza Award winner, and that day he missed 2 of the only 3 field goals he missed. Now, were we probably as good as LSU? Maybe, maybe not. I don't look at Jonathan. I look at my play calling, my game plan. You lose when you score 14 points.
Yeah. And 7 of them was a pick 6 on the first play.
Yes. So that's David Cutcliffe. And, you know, God bless Jonathan. That happens to every place kicker, but it didn't end him being great. You know, he was that right kind of young man. But, hey, great game. Kudos to Coach Saban. You know, he's not easy to beat anywhere. Whatever color he's got on seems to win, right?
He's pretty good at what he does, huh?
Yes, he is, without question. I have great respect for him as a man and a football coach.
I think he'd probably say the same, and I know we would express that sentiment. It's been great to visit for these few minutes, and hopefully we get a chance to do it again.
I will tell the good folks down in
Yeah,
Louisiana, you're great football fans. My goodness. When you go down there, that's why I have hearing loss. It's amazing.
I
it
think
really is.
The Tennessee teams you took, though, had a little bit of success in
We
Baton
did, but it still caused, and I got a lot of things thrown at me, and I saw the moon when the moon wasn't even out. How you figure?
That is Coach David Cutcliffe, the Dwight Schrute of SEC football. I guess we could say it. Coach, it's a pleasure.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you so much. That is David Cutcliffe. This is After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices, ShawBillsTire.com. Check them out online. Check them out online to find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. All right, we're going to wrap up hour number 1 here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. There is some LSU baseball news I want to get to. Then coming up right after the top of the hour, Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart, will join us at 5 o'clock. We're looking forward to that. Stick around here with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. I've been repeating this for a few weeks now, but it's probably going to persist because the fact of the matter is that we all know what's happening in our country's economy right now with inflation, the numbers that came out last week. Everybody is spending more for the things that we're not used to spending more on. Insurance Network of Louisiana could be a way that you could end up giving yourself a raise by saving money every month on your insurance payments. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop independently for free to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. It's that simple. You call 293-0450 no matter where you are in the state of Louisiana. I'll remind you, they're licensed in Texas and Arkansas and Mississippi and Alabama and Florida. So even if it's a camp or you live outside, 293-0450, 293-0450 or lainsurance.net. That's lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music.
been wined and dined by royalty, trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
Live from the 2022 SEC Football Media Days, presented by Hudco Roofing. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we literally have less than 60 seconds, but I'm not going to apologize because the commissioner of the SEC decided to sit with us for 20 minutes, and I was not going to kick him out of the chair. Muse, real quick, give us a draft update from today, please.
It's been a pretty good day. Paul Gervais did announce he's going to sign with the Mets. He got drafted. Jack Pineda got drafted. He intends to sign per Leah Van. Brady Neal got taken in the 17th round. You'll wait a decision there. Carter Young got drafted late in the 16th round. I think you'll wait a decision there. And then Jaden Newt just came off the board at pick 582 to the Brewers in the 19th round, so wait a decision there.
Those will be interesting because typically Gervais is the curious one because he had tweeted that he was going to return. Hour two next.
AFR.
Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. If you want the comfort and convenience of driving one of the safest vehicles on the road, go test drive a Volkswagen. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland. Even if you're outside of the Baton Rouge area and you're thinking about a Volkswagen, man, it is so worth taking a drive over to South Point or logging onto the website because they move more inventory. They can give you a better deal, and they do have inventory. And even if they don't have the exact vehicle on the lot today that you're looking for, they can find it. Talk to one of their great sales associates, and they will find the exact vehicle you're looking for, and they will get it here. It's South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, airline just north of Highland, or online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning living restaurants and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Speaking today at SEC Media Days, Alabama football coach Nick Saban said Crimson Tide players did extremely well last year when it came to name, image, and likeness, made more than $3 million. He also voiced his concerns about NIL, said he'd like to see some guidelines in place to keep teams from spending money indiscriminately. Saban's words certainly carry some weight, says ESPN football analyst Dan Orlovsky.
The interesting thing was when he finally says, like, hey, we're Alabama, we're the haves and the others have-nots. And it's the preeminent coach in college football saying, this is going to benefit my program, the situation that college football is in, and it's not good for the overall aspect of college football.
Dan Orlovsky on First Take. Dodgers left-hander Clayton Kershaw tonight makes his first All-Star start for the National League in the Major League Baseball All-Star Game from Dodger Stadium. Shane McClanahan of the Rays starts for the American League. A change to the game this year. There will be a mini home run derby should the Midsummer Classic be tied after 9 innings. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. We're live from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days, Day 2. And when you have earned the nickname Mr. College Football, this is probably your event. Tony Barnhart, good enough to join us on site here for a few minutes. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing well. It's good. First of all, it's good to have a home game. Let's put it that way.
You know, the Atlanta guys seem to like this.
Yes, we do. I got to wake up in my own bed. Before I came down here yesterday, I got a chance to see my grandson for a few minutes. And so I said, G-Dad is going out to talk about football. I said, okay, G-Dad. So,
how old is he?
He's 2.
Does he know college football yet?
Not yet, but he will.
I'm sure he will. I don't think he has a choice, actually. When you grow up in this family, in this city, in this region, it's certainly the case. You're with us on behalf of the Dodd Trophy, which let me start there, and we'll talk about the SEC and the season in a second. One of the things that I always find interesting is usually when we look at Coach of the Year awards, it's like, okay, well, who won the national title?
Right.
That's not really it with the Dodd Trophy. Luke Fickell is won it a year ago. I remember in 2019, of course, LSU was the national champion, and it was Kyle Whittingham who won it that year. What goes into selecting the Dodd winner?
Well, obviously, Matt, you start with success on the field, but from that, you also say, what has this coach done? How has this player have they done academically? What has this coach done from a community service standpoint? What has he done to run a more rounded program to keep college football sort of within the context of the university? I got involved with the Dodd Trophy about 12 years ago. I get asked to do a bunch of different kind of things, and they came to me and said, this is a different coach of the year. I was a great admirer of Bobby Dodd. A lot of people, unless you're my age, you don't remember Bobby Dodd at Georgia Tech. Hall of Fame coach, one of only 4 people in the Hall of Fame as both a player and a coach. And so when I had an opportunity to be a part of this, I jumped on it, and we're really proud of it. The key pillars are scholarship, leadership, and integrity, which is what Coach Dodd stood for, and more than happy to be talking about the Dodd Trophy with you.
Let me also mention it's presented by PNC. That's important. What else goes into, because a lot of times with awards there's either a charitable component or something socially involved that the Dodd Trophy does that's important to the organization there.
Yeah, there is a give back component to it, and it has been a special part because Coach Dodd believed in giving back, and that is something that they've done. Chick-fil-A came on board. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl came on board, has been a very important part of the growth of the Dodd Award. But, yeah, this is Coach Dodd. Coach Dodd would be very happy with the finished product.
The Dodd, D-O-D-D, thedoddtrophy.com if you want to learn more about the award itself, thedoddtrophy.com. By the way, is the trophy here? I know in years past they brought the trophy.
I just got in, so I don't know.
Okay.
I think somebody told me yesterday that it was here.
It's a pretty fine-looking award as well. It's a statue of Coach Dodd kneeling with a football in his hand. It really feels like – it feels like college football. Doesn't that look like college football?
Well, yeah, absolutely. You can see him out there at practice doing that. Great story about Coach Dodd from Bill Curry. Bill Curry played for Coach Dodd. Of course, Bill Curry played in the NFL for 10 years. Head coach at Alabama and Kentucky and Georgia State.
He won a Super Bowl with the Packers.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, and with the Baltimore Colts. Think about a guy who played for Bobby Dodd, Don Shula, and Vince Lombardi. That's pretty good. He was a freshman at Georgia Tech. And he said a little bit on the stubborn side, and he decided that his freshman calculus class at 8 o'clock in the morning was something he'd just rather not do. So he skipped class and went about his way. Well, before the day's out, he gets a note on his locker to letting him know to report to the inside of the stadium, Grant Field, at 6 a.m. the next morning. Where an assistant coach proceeded to run him ragged. And he said, I discovered that I would love to go to a calculus class at 8 o'clock in the morning. He said, and that was because of Coach Dodd. Coach Dodd from Galax, Virginia, played at Tennessee, was not a good student at all. He demanded that his players do the work academically, and every single one of them graduate. He said, but Coach Curry said Bobby Dodd made him what he is. Because he demanded that his players go to class.
Tony Barnhart is with us. I do want to talk about the season. We'll talk some football. But one of the things that I just thought of as you were telling that story, I wonder, would that play today? And part of the thing about of the culture and the fabric of college football, and I don't mean to speak Pollyanna, but sometimes it's hard to avoid that type of conversation. Is part of that eroding in the game today?
Well, everybody has to be careful how they treat people now, and we demand that now. And whereas the old days, the coaches do whatever the heck they want. Sure. Who's going to challenge them and all that? So I think we are in a different place now. Running the stadium steps at 6 a.m., I would say that's probably borderline. Now if you make the guy sick, you hurt him or something like that. But yeah, there's no question that we're living in a different culture now.
I don't even necessarily just mean punishment for misbehavior. That happens. I mean, I think in every sport you'll run suicides or stadiums or whatever. But we're in an era of I would say, certainly in my lifetime, I'm curious your thought, especially we're having out transfer portal NIL. It's the most fundamental shift of college football of my lifetime.
Sure.
Would you say the same for you as well?
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. You're basically first you gave the transfer portal, which basically is unlimited access to move around. That's something that had to happen. Okay, I have no problem with that. My only problem with the portal is it doesn't need to be open 365 days a year. Let's come up with a couple of windows for the guys to get in there, so the coach can manage his roster. I think that's only fair. NIL was something that had to happen. Supreme Court told us it had to happen. We know that now, but with those two things that we're talking about, the fundamental relationship between the player, student athlete, and the university and the coaching staff changes. Mm-hmm. It's more like the NFL. The NFL, they are considered professionals. They expect to be treated as professionals. Discipline is unless they violate drug policy or something like that, or flat out don't do what they're supposed to do as a teammate, then that has changed. So, yeah, I would say yes, those two things have fundamentally changed the relationship between the player and the relationship with the coaches.
Tony Barnhart's with us for a couple more minutes on behalf of the Dodd Trophy presented by PNC. Georgia won the national championship. Their first, as we all know, in 40 years. And nobody here is talking about the defending national champion.
That's right.
Is that kind of weird?
Kirby loves it. Kirby Smart, head coach Kirby Smart, loves it. Let everybody say, well, let them ignore us. And so I think he's loving it. I think part of it is a hungry Alabama team. Nick Saban was here today. That's a hungry football team. I think he's hungry. I think that's interesting. But I do find it interesting that Georgia's not getting a lot of hype. But I promise you, Kirby Smart's loving it.
Why aren't they? Is it just that they're not interesting? There's no Bryce Young. I mean, with respect to Stetson Bennett, Bryce Young was
Heisman Trophy winner. So I don't know unless it's like, hey, Georgia put a nice run together and they're a good team and they won, but they can't do it again, can they? I happen to believe they can. I think they're now defensively they can't be as good as they were a year ago. That was a generational defense, one of the best you're ever going to see. But they've recruited at a really high level for the last 4 years. They've got guys that have been waiting their turn. They're going to make you sit up and go, wow. So I think the defense is going to be good. You know, they gave up 10.2 points a game. They're not going to do that. Okay, it's not going to be that good, but they will be a good defense.
Not too long ago, 10.2 points a game. You think that's good. It's a really good defense. Now you're like, oh my God! In this era of college football,
no question.
Thoughts on Brian Kelly at LSU?
I thought it was a great hire. Brian Kelly's won every place he's ever been. He's more of a CEO coach. And let's be honest here. LSU's issues were never about players. They've got players. They've always had players, and they got players again. So I think hiring a guy like Brian Kelly is perfect. He's won more games than any other coach in the history of Notre Dame. That's got to count for something.
Yeah.
So I thought it's a very and I will say this. I think that Brian Kelly this year at LSU will have the most talented roster he's ever had. Even some of those national playoff teams for Notre Dame, I think this will be a very talented roster that he's got.
That's a mouthful. He'll also have to face an SEC schedule. Is there a team in the league that every year we come to this and everybody has questions, right? I mean, like LSU, who's going to be the starting quarterback? Or will Spencer Rattler be able to take a step at South Carolina? Whatever it is. Is there a question that you're really eager, with a certain team, like really eager to find out this year?
I want to see if Billy Napier can make Anthony Richardson into a elite SEC quarterback.
It's a good one.
Because, I mean, let's face it, I thought it was going to happen with the last guy, and it didn't. Maybe it's a factor of age. Billy Napier worked wonders with the spread attack at Louisiana. I'm just anxious to see if he is going to do that. The other big question I have is, and we just touched on it, can Georgia handle success? From a talent standpoint, I think they're more than capable of getting back to Atlanta, but can they handle success? And I've had these conversations with Nick Saban a bunch. He said the toughest thing in coaching is to convince a group of guys who've achieved a goal that they've got to work harder the following year to repeat. It's hard for them to learn.
And the fruits of those labors for some coach will be the Dodd Trophy, presented by PNC. You can learn more about the Dodd Trophy online at thedoddtrophy.com. It is really a cool trophy. You should go to the website to check it out. Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football. Make sure you follow him on Twitter as well. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for a couple of minutes.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
That is our pleasure. It is After Further Review. We're live from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. When we come back, we'll continue. I had a chance to visit with Dakereon Joyner of South Carolina, a fascinating dude and one hell of an athlete. We'll get to that as we continue here at SEC Football Media Days on Radio Row.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air. I tell you every day to go read the reviews. Go read the reviews. Not every company wants you to go look up their Google rating and read their reviews. At River City's 1 Hour Air, they don't run from it, they encourage it. Because when you've stayed in business for 40 years, because the core of what you do is having
30.
great technicians that know how to treat people right and doing great work at a fair price, people are your best advertising. That's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001.
15.
Remember, nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out and they'll never charge you
10.
extra. So look for the big yellow trucks and vans with the giant clock on the side. You'll see them all over town. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside, off the bench, Hunt and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste.
It's 8 minutes, Matt. Also, I'm looking at. Hold on. Well, I'm gonna have to use the pot that you're on right now to play it out of. Okay. All right. Okay.
Live from the 2022 SEC Football Media Days, presented by Hudco Roofing. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Back live from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. South Carolina Gamecocks taking their turn today. Dakereon Joyner, good enough to join us. How are you, man?
Man, I'm well. I can't complain, man. I'm blessed.
All right, what's the ring?
Oh, my graduating class ring. I got to rock that. You know
Look
what I'm
at
saying?
that,
I graduated.
man.
Definitely.
Congrats on that.
Trying to get the master's soon. You know
Dude,
what I'm
in
saying?
all the years that we've been coming to Radio Row, I don't know that I've ever seen a lot of players will wear their championship rings, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I don't know that I've ever seen a class ring.
Oh, yeah, education is important. Nobody can ever take that from me, so I got to show that off.
Dude, I'm going to ask you about the threads in a minute because
Okay,
we always do
okay.
that here.
For sure.
I'm so glad you sat down because if there was one guy in Carolina certainly I wanted to talk to is you, maybe anybody
Right.
this week because
That's love.
I watched the Mayo Bowl.
Yeah, for sure.
So for those that don't remember, all right, so Dak goes to South Carolina. Do you go by Dak, by the way?
DK.
DK.
I'm a
okay.
DK kind of
okay.
guy. Yeah.
So DK goes to South Carolina as a quarterback, switches to wide receiver. Obviously, you have a quarterback opt-out, and so then you're playing quarterback in the bowl game. And not only did you play quarterback in the bowl game, you won MVP of the
for sure.
bowl game. All right. When did Coach Beamer say, all right, you're our guy?
So, okay. So let's take it way back. Coach Beamer recruited me as a quarterback when he was at Georgia. Okay, so we go way, way back.
Okay.
And when Coach Beamer first came in, he was like, you know, how do you feel about quarterback? At the time, I was over it. Didn't want anything to do with it. But he always said he never gave up on me at quarterback. So I'm like, okay. Right after the Clemson game, Coach was like, listen, man, how you feel about playing quarterback? I think he kind of just brought it up as a general conversation. I'm like, I didn't really want to do it. So we're preparing for bowl practice like day one, and they ain't said nothing to me at all. Our OC comes to me like, yeah, DK, you with me today. I'm like, what you mean? I'm with the quarterbacks today. I'm like, okay. So I'm with the quarterbacks for like the first day. And then at the end of practice, I went to my receiver coach. Because at the time, I've lost all the love for quarterback. Not even going to lie to you. Didn't want to do it.
Why?
Because I feel like I've been stripped from it. I feel like my opportunity, I was never given a fair opportunity. And I feel like I was stripped from the opportunity. And I lost the love for it. I'm not even going to lie. And then after day one, I told my receiver coach, I'm like, Coach, like, they're not really going to, adopt me over in that room, right? Sure enough, Spencer committed, Jason Brown transferred. Boom, I'm stuck in the room. so I'm like, all right. So I'm here. I got to embrace the role. But it took me about a day or two to get my swag back at quarterback. So I always had it, you know what I'm saying? But when I started making the throws, I'm like, okay, I think I'm back.
It came back.
I think I'm back.
It's wild because LSU. So we're in Louisiana. LSU played their bowl game, and John Trey Kirkland was a high school quarterback.
I peeped that.
Yeah. I mean, and God bless him. Dude ran around, did his best. It was tough game. It was a tough day. But in that game, was it like riding a bike?
Bro, it was. I said it on the sideline of my highlights. I seen it because I was like, they were recording me. I was like, man, it's like riding a bike. I've been saying it all week because it felt like. I'm telling you, I knew the whole time what was going to happen. Nobody else knew. My teammates knew, but the fans didn't know. We did a great job of hiding it well. I just knew, and I knew the first play that was going to be called, and I'm ready to see everybody react. And I'm like, man, it's on now. So
beat North Carolina, of course, which is for South Carolina a big deal in the game there. Obviously the Mayo Bowl there in Charlotte. Let's talk a little bit about sort of transitioning this season. You're back to receiver. I would assume Spencer Rattler's going to go ahead and play quarterback, right?
Yeah.
How did that go in spring, working with a new quarterback and kind of getting that timing?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Spencer's a very smooth guy on the field, on and off the field, but he's a guy, he's an NFL-ready quarterback. He's a guy that spins the ball well, and his energy is contagious. His leadership role is very contagious. You want to be around him. But it wasn't bad. You know what I'm saying? He kind of made it easier. You know what I'm saying? It kind of felt like it was meant to be. You know what I'm saying?
Why? What was your reaction when you found out he was transferred? Do you remember where you were when you found out? Because that's a big deal, right? I mean, you're talking about a potential first-round draft pick.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I already knew. I knew before everybody else knew. So I'm just waiting for everybody else to hear the news. But I kind of got upset because rumors starting to come out. I'm like, dang, I think they starting to know. But, man, I was excited, man. I just knew I know what he's capable of. I know what Spencer can bring to the table, man. I watched him for a while. You know what I'm saying? Very competitive guy. So I just was excited. I still am excited, man. Looking forward to having a great year with him. I appreciate being around him. Like everyone asked me about him. His locker right next to mine. So we share a lot of stories together. We got some good times together. But really good guy, man. I'm excited.
Give me an expectation for this season where everyone here is going to pick Georgia to win the East. It's what the media is going to do. You shrug your shoulders. It's what the media is going to do.
Why not?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So what internally, what do you all feel? Because I think even just the 3-5 record in conference last year surprised a lot of people based on what the expectation was. So internally, what do you all think?
Last year, you know what I'm saying, we were expecting to win 2 games. You know what I'm saying? We came out and won 7. I don't like putting out, predictions or anything like that, but I think everybody's going to see a team that has never played as hard before. People are going to see a team that loves each other. People are going to see a team that plays hard for each other and loves our head coach. Our goal is to go be the most consistent team possible. Whatever that may consist of, be consistent, play our hearts out, and be efficient. You know what I'm saying? If we do those 3 things and do the 7 things that are core values that we talk about, that's going to help our program, we'll be very successful. You know what I'm saying? We just got to trust in our coaches. Forget what everybody else saying. We don't care about none of that. All we care about is our building and the guys in our building. So.
All right, 2 more. You said you're working on your master's in what?
I'm trying to work on my master's in business analytics. That's the goal right now. The season coming up, so I'm trying to see how I'm going to play that. And if God blesses, I got 1 more year after this year, but if God blesses me to, go on to the next level, I'm not going to pursue that. But that's definitely in my mind right now.
All right. Yesterday, Jonathan Mingo from Ole Miss. Now I'm putting this together. The receivers have been the flashiest so far.
Yeah, for sure.
He came in a 3-piece suit, beautiful blue, had a red bow tie, nice pocket square, had the shoe game on fire, on point as well. All right. You came in with a completely different style. All right, tell me what went into putting the fit together today.
So, the goal with the whole fit was to go in and own the room. You know what I'm saying? Go in and own the room. My family helped me out with the color. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't sold on the color at first. But the idea with the peach suit, floral inside, I think it's smooth. You know what I'm saying? I think it's smooth, and I'm trying to put it on well, man.
Not only that, but the accessories, the watch.
The gold watch, the gold accessories, the gold earrings.
Even the glasses?
Oh, for sure. I got to do that. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
On point today. Dakereon, Joyner, thank you so much for the time. Have a great season, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you.
Pleasure, man.
AFR.
Go, Matt.
Tuesday, kids eat free. That's right. You need the kids to get out of the house, get the whole family out of the house. Have a night. You could do it at Pluckers tonight and do it affordably for the whole family. Every Tuesday night, kids eat free. That's at Pluckers. Also, Tuesday night, our guy, Hunt Palmer, hosting sports trivia. That's 5 rounds of live action trivia at Pluckers on Nicholson. So get your team together, win Pluckers gift cards, eat wings, drink beer. What more in the world could you possibly want? It's at Pluckers. Dine in, carry out, or delivery via Uber Eats or DoorDash. It is Pluckers. Again, Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. It's Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
Okay, coming back right now.
Live from the 2022 SEC Football Media Days, presented by Hudco Roofing. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We continue from Radio Row. Of course, as always, many thanks to Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, for making our coverage here at SEC Football Media Days on Radio Row possible all throughout the week. As I tell you all the time, Hudco Roofing, do business with someone you know. That's Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. It is storming right now and has been all day in Atlanta, but it rained certainly back home as well. If you have issues with your roof, our friends at Hudco can help you out. Of course, our coverage also brought to you by Rejuvame, Jerry Lane, and DraftKings. All right, we always talk about I'm sorry, Mike Leach is walking by us as we talk here. But we always, every time a team has their turn on Radio Row or is featured that day, we like to at least do a small feature on every team. Yesterday, we had a really interesting interview with a wide receiver from Missouri. I would highly recommend you go check it out if you missed it. It was in hour number 2. And again, out of obligation, we're going to say something about Vandy, although Vandy's going to be picked to finish at the bottom of the conference. They were 0-8 in the league a year ago, 2-10 year one under Clark Lee. And I can't imagine that anyone at Vanderbilt was okay. You should never go winless in conference. And they also lost to East Tennessee State and Stanford. Their 2 wins were against Colorado State and UConn. They were dreadful. There's no other way to say it. Which is why when Clark Lee took to the podium today and said what he said, it got a lot of people's attention. And here's what Clark Lee said.
We know that in time, Vanderbilt football will be the best program in the country.
We know that in time, Vanderbilt football will be the best program in the country. Okay. Last year was Clark Lee's first media days, and you may roll your eyes and say, Matt, what do you expect him to say? I expect him to have an honest expectation and realization, something realistic. But last year at this event when Clark Lee took the podium, It was so stunning. I remember the exact spot where I was sitting in the main media room. This is Vanderbilt, y'all. Like, there's nothing anybody ever remembers about Vanderbilt. But Clark Lee said a year ago that the Vanderbilt job was the best job in college football. Again, my point is I don't expect him to come out and crap on the job or the program or the history or any of that stuff. And I certainly understand that he has to believe what he is selling. But you also have to be realistic with what you are selling to recruits and to your fan base. Here's my point. If Vanderbilt wanted to be the best program in college football, could be. Put it to you this way. The number one recruit in the country in the 247 composite, the number one, the top guy, 5-star, number one player in the country, is going to Jackson State. All due respect to Jackson State, to the SWAC, to HBCUs. I don't mean any disrespect, but there's a reason why the top players in the country don't go to HBCUs. They go to the best conferences to have the best coaching, the best facilities, play against the best players, and to give themselves a launching pad to the next level. It's why it happens. And then you also now throw in NIL, but that's the point. If Vanderbilt wanted to take part of their, $8 billion endowment and go commit to buying players, like, they could be dominant, but they're not going to because they don't care enough. It would have been more realistic for Clark Lee to sit here and say, we believe Vanderbilt can be a championship contender in time if we do it the right way. We got a long way to go, but we feel like in time, with the way that we're building, we can get there. That is more believable. I have this forever ingrained in my head of listening to Dale Brown. Dale Brown talking about when he took the LSU job and talking about his goals were to win the SEC, to make a Final Four, and to win a national championship. And he had reporters in the back of the room laughing at him because in 1972, that was an incredibly foreign thought for LSU basketball. But Dale Brown ended up getting to 2 Final Fours, fell short of winning a national title, as we know, but reached levels of success that had not previously been reached at LSU basketball with respect to the 1935 Sparky Wade championship or whatever. But that's what I would have liked to have heard from Clark Lee. Something a little more realistic. If you look at the Commodores, they open up at Hawaii, so they get a nice trip out to the island. Then they play Elon and Wake Forest at Northern Illinois. At Northern Illinois in the non-conference, and then it's 8 consecutive conference games for Vanderbilt. And I don't know that they'll win a conference game this year. Clark Lee did say that it was tough. It was a tough conversation with Ken Seals, who was split time as a starter a year ago, and they felt like as a program they had to move on or move forward going into into camp to know who their guy was, and so they have committed to Mike Wright, who started 5 of the last 6 games a season ago, played in 10 of the 12 games, but Mike Wright will be the starting quarterback at Vanderbilt. But the more interesting comment, I think, relative for our audience anyway, from Clark Lee, is he was asked about Brian Kelly. Now remember, when Brian Kelly was at Notre Dame, he had a history of hiring very good defensive coordinators who became either head coaches or prominent defensive coordinators in other spots. Clark Lee among them. Clark Lee was his defensive coordinator at Notre Dame before he got the head coaching job at Vanderbilt. And Clark Lee had high praise for Brian Kelly.
Well, he's a great dancer. And Coach Kelly, I would count him as one of my greatest mentors. He took a chance on me as an unproven commodity. I was a linebacker coach, having never coordinated, and he gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. And it wasn't just that he gave me the job and said, hey, you go do it and let's see if you're successful, but he invested in me every single day. And I learned a lot from that experience and from the development of that relationship. But beyond that, I think I reflect back on my time with him more in this role than I ever did while I was sitting with him, learning from his methodology. Coach Kelly's smart in design. He cares about the little things. He wants attention to detail in the program. program. He's accountability based. He cares about people. He's a big proponent of the weight room and building out your team physically and mentally. All those aspects we've carried forward as a part of our program too. So there's no mystery in his success. I mean, he has done it over and over again. And it's been fun for me to reunite with him in this conference. And I count him as a dear friend and a mentor, and I'm excited for him at LSU.
That's 1 minute and 8 seconds from another SEC head coach on the current head coach at LSU. And I think one of my big takeaways this week, and this always happens, you generally by the end of the week, you'll look back in hindsight and you'll look at the week and the 4 days and getting to talk to, 14 coaches and dozens of players and media members. And you generally have themes or theories or takeaways from the week, people who stood out or themes that stood out. And one of them, I think, is the praise and respect internally for Brian Kelly from people in the conference, meaning what you heard from Greg Sankey on our air last hour, what you heard Clark Lee say today. Nick Saban also spoke on Brian Kelly earlier today, which we'll let you hear coming up in hour number 3 when we talk a little bit more about the day that Alabama had here at Media Days. But, I mean, even Mike Leach, there has been high praise for Brian Kelly from most everyone who has been asked, which is a stark contrast from the memes and the mockery which became so prevalent on social media with the accent and the dancing and all the stuff that at this point I'm sure you all know. The big question is going to be how quickly can he win? How quickly can he turn this back around into a winner in Baton Rouge? But if you listen to Clark Lee, it certainly sounds like it won't take long. All right, it's After Further Review. We are here on Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days, brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Remember, if it's hormone replacement therapy, if you want to look and feel like your younger self, there is a way. And so often you don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. That is the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. All right, glad to have you aboard with us here. Remember, if you missed anything, you can go back and catch OTB from this morning on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. If you're listening now and you want to see our coverage, one thing we did today, and I hope you enjoyed, I would actually love your feedback. We kind of flipped the shot today where they set us up here. So we're in the College Football Hall of Fame. So if you're listening, you know the benefit of watching us on YouTube right now. The College Football Hall of Fame has on the ground floor of the main area a partial football field where the main stage and main media is set up. On the second floor is where they have Radio Row, but we can see down onto the main floor. But there are so many exhibits up here, and behind us is trophy case. Like, we are directly across from the Commander-in-Chief trophy. There are 2 trophy cases honoring last year's national championship participants, Georgia and Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young, and then you see the Heisman next to that, and then all of the major bowl trophies next to that as well. So it's a really cool view. So we turned it around so you'd have something better to look at than the red wall, which was behind us. So hope you enjoy that as well. And it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Tons still to get to here in hour number 3. We did have a chance to talk to Zacch Pickens, who was a former #1 defensive lineman, top 10 overall prospect in the country, chose his in-state Gamecocks at South Carolina. He's entering his final season there in Columbia. You'll hear that conversation. Our buddy Lynn Scarbrough from Lindy's Magazines will give us his preview of the Southeastern Conference. We still have to hear from Nick Saban, Mike Leach, as well as we roll through a Tuesday edition of AFR. We're glad to have you aboard with us here live from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. We will continue next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's. Rouse's is the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, and Rouse's loves to make it convenient for you. So go to the Rouse's app or rouses.com. And you can have curbside pickup or delivery options available to you. So you want to pick out your groceries, really easy. Erica actually did this. We had Drew's birthday party last weekend. We needed a bunch of stuff for the party. It's so easy. You go to the app, you select your items, boom, they'll deliver it to your house. If you'd rather, you can go to the store, pick out your items. They'll go shop for you. When you pull into one of the curbside spots, they'll alert them. They'll bring your groceries out to you when you get there. At Rouse's, it's all about making it convenient for you. And remember, this Saturday, this Saturday at the Rouse's in Denham. They are going to be having an amazing whiskey tasting. We are talking about Van Winkle's and BTACs. If you love whiskey, this is going to be an awesome opportunity. Learn more at rouses.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
At Rejuvame, we specialize in medically monitored hormone replacement therapy, giving you the energy you need for all life's challenges. We can help get your day started. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org.
Okay, coming back.
Live from the 2022 SEC Football Media Days, presented by Hudco Roofing. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Many thanks to Commissioner Greg Sankey, former Ole Miss and Duke head coach David Cutcliffe, Tony Barnhart, who have all joined us earlier in the show. And thanks to Rivers, who's here on site with us, helping get everything rolling and hustling guests and all that stuff. I want to talk Mississippi State, so that's why I asked you to put a headset on. But I'm going to turn up your microphone. I have a bad habit of doing that so far since we've been here. I've just not been turning up.
You're not
guests.
used to doing that.
You're right. I'm not. I'm used to just talking and not having to do that. Did you got to hear Mike Leach today?
I only heard just a little bit.
Like the opening statement, which was 2 words?
I didn't actually hear that. I've seen that on Twitter. I walked in and he was talking about trick plays, and I was like, well, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Apparently there was, if you guys.
I was like, I'm just going to fix the camera.
Go ahead.
Sorry, guys. I'm just going to produce here.
He also apparently told a story. He did have thoughts on Brian Kelly, which we'll get to. He did have a Buffalo and a Grizzly Bear story. Let's hear that, Muse. Let's hear Mike Leach.
I would love to hear that.
Yes.
Well, where I grew up in Cody, Wyoming, and I went there over 4th of July,
because I was in the parade there, and then and that's in northwest Wyoming. It's kind of the east entrance of Yellowstone. And now I haven't checked it since, but about 2 weeks, for a week there, and it's been about 2 weeks, we had 2 people got gored by buffalo and one mauled by a grizzly bear. And the two people that got injured by the two buffalo ended up in Park County Hospital, which is in Cody. And then the guy that got mauled by the grizzly, they hauled him to Billings. Hopefully they're all doing okay. But that was all in 1 week. I'm flying in, checking on, hey, what's been happening around here. That's all in 1 week. So it's been 2 weeks. So hopefully everybody went unscathed, But don't go pet buffaloes.
That's a negative thing.
Just the most like Mike Leach story I've ever heard.
Do you think? And I wanted to ask you this because I'm going to move this out. I wanted to ask you because. Like you've seen how this works. I mean, over the last 2 days, I've done dozens of interviews, right? And so I've sat down and every one of them has said, Brian Kelly. They made fun of his dancing. They made fun of the family. They it's been a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, have you seen that? You think that you've seen that from the general population that you've interviewed, or like the players and
No.
Oh, okay.
When they interview me.
Oh, when they interview you. Got it.
When I go sit down and I'm asked
That's
about
the
Brian
question
Kelly.
they ask you. Yes. Okay.
Everyone.
Yes,
and I
yes.
get it. I get it. He's the Notre Dame
It's
coach.
the Mike Jones who thing.
Yes, it's the thing. I get it. How do you feel like as a Mississippi State person?
I don't like where this question is headed.
No, that
nothing ever good ever follows that.
No, but I'm serious because I think there's a correlation because I think LSU fans have gotten very defensive about the way Brian Kelly is their guy now.
Yeah.
About the way that he's been presented, approached, mocked, whatever. How does the sort of collective Mississippi State fan base feel about Mike Leach?
I like him. I don't mind that he's kind of wacky. I mean, we've had coach. I don't know. He's the most fun coach I've ever experienced. I don't mind him. I think as long as he's just not losing every game, Mississippi State people are going to embrace you.
What do you when you say lose?
You're like, what does that mean?
Like, do you? I mean, in a
that definition's different for us than it is. No,
right.
I mean that's a generalization. But
So what is good? What is acceptable? Dan Mullen won a lot of games for a lot of years.
He did. So he set that bar. When then we went into Moorhead and that just was
didn't go well.
It didn't go well.
No, but
so then Moorhead maybe reset our bar.
Did he?
A little, probably.
Okay, so with Dan Mullen, what was your bar? What was your expectation going into every season?
I guess I always wanted to go to a bowl game. Like, I always wanted to be competitive. Like, and then I think after Moorhead, we were kind of like, oof.
Do you think Mike Leach can win a national championship at Mississippi State?
Is it possible? Yes, we talked about this earlier.
Did we?
We were talking about Tennessee, or no, Vanderbilt.
Oh, you missed I did the Vandy segment when you stepped away.
Yeah. Is it possible? Absolutely. Like, all the
You got really high pitched on that
all
one.
the stars could align.
Not super
We
believable.
could throw a bunch of money at some good people and get them there.
It would take that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I think right now, like, for it to happen right now, yes. Do I think it's reasonable? No.
I guess when I think about State.
Do you think do you think that Dan Mullen could have won a national championship at Mississippi State?
What I was going to say was this. 2014, I think, was the stars aligning for Mississippi State.
Right.
Dak became a hell of a player.
Oh, we were number one for so long.
You had reached number one in the country.
In Alabama.
I mean, but even still, in that season, was that the greatest season State's ever had?
I mean, I think for me, like in my lifetime,
what about
I
in the
think
history
so.
of the program?
I mean, probably. I would say
Okay.
yes. I mean, we were number one for 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, it was. We beat Auburn, and I just remember. But there was no point, and maybe this is where you're going with this question. There was no point during that season where I relaxed. I was never like, oh, we're going to do this. Like, we're going to go all the way. Every single game we played, I was like, well, we're going to lose this one. There's just no way. There's no way. We can't do it. We cannot win a national championship. And, I mean, maybe that's just an attitude I developed over my lifetime as a Mississippi State fan. But I still never thought that we were going to win the national championship that year.
Okay. So the where I was going was 2014, you have this super veteran team of like all these fifth-year seniors. Dak, Josh Robinson. Who was the crazy center with the long with the colored hair?
You're talking about Boobie?
No.
Anthony Dixon? No.
No, the center.
Oh, no, I don't know. I don't know who you're talking about.
Anyway, if I said his name,
If you said his name.
long hair coming out of the back of the helmet. Anyway.
That one guy with the long hair coming out of the back of his head.
Well, I remember because they were playing LSU in Tiger Stadium, and State had such a big lead, and then Brandon Harris came in and started spinning touchdowns, and they had to this kid had to put his knee braces back on over his pants to go back into the game. Like, he had already taken his knee braces. Like, it was over.
Yeah.
And then it was like, no, it ain't over, bro. You need to go get a first down and run this clock out. But even that year, 2014, State still went 10-2 and lost the bowl game, so 10-3. Lost 3 games.
Right. And that's our greatest. And that feels to us like our greatest. So, yeah.
So it's like, is that the glass ceiling?
What's our ceiling?
But I asked this too, Rivs, because.
I don't think it's.
Because listen, when Leach was at Texas Tech, which I believe Mississippi State is a better job than Texas Tech. Similar in that rural places in a conference with some power schools, resources aren't at that level, but I still think State, because it's in the SEC, it's got better fan support. Undeniably, you've got a better talent base around you. I get that they're in Texas, but
1 minute.
What is Texas Tech? The 7th best school in Texas, maybe? But I think Leach in 2008 should have played for a national championship at Texas Tech.
No, I think Leach is a really good coach. I think that he is a good coach. I mean, people dislike him for all sorts of reasons, because he's wacky or because he has certain beliefs or whatever. But if you just take all of that aside, I mean, you can't look at Mike Leach and be like, he's not a good coach. I mean, he is.
He's interesting.
And he's had some, if you look at just some of the crazy things that have happened during his career, the comebacks, all this stuff, I mean, he is a really good coach. And I think that gets hidden sometimes because he is so, because he wants to talk about Japanese toilets and, Buffalo and whatever.
He's won at places that you don't usually win. And we'll see if he can do it at Mississippi State as well. All right, after further review, we'll come back. We'll talk about a guy that has won a lot. Nick Saban had his turn today.
AFR.
That was such a gross thing. AFR is brought to you by GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. How about a cash-out refinance? Maybe it's that time where you want to do that home improvement project. Maybe you want to remodel the kitchen. You want to renovate the bathroom. You want to maybe put in the pool outside. Whatever it is, a cash-out refinance could be a great option. Take some of your home's equity and use that to do that project. It's possible, and GMFS Mortgage can help you. Great local loan officers all over the state of Louisiana. So no matter where you are in Louisiana, GMFS Mortgage can help. So do this. Log on to GMFSmortgage.com. That's GMFSmortgage.com. Easy enough. GMFSmortgage.com. Get in touch with a local loan officer and let them help you on that path to changing your life financially. GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Stars will be out in Hollywood tonight for Major League Baseball's All-Star Game. Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers will make his first ever All-Star start for the National League. The American League counters with Rays lefty Shane McClanahan. ESPN radio coverage in 1 hour. Much of the talk this week in the sport has been about Juan Soto. There's speculation he may be traded after turning down Washington's $440 million offer. It'll be difficult, though, for the Nats to move him by the August 2nd trade deadline, notes ESPN's Jeff Passan.
If it's going to happen, a team is going to have to overwhelm Mike Rizzo and the Nationals, because they're going to have to sit there and say, in the middle of the sale of this team, we're going to get rid of one of the 5 best players in baseball, 10 best players at worst, and leave this team, this new owner, with nobody to market the team around?
Alabama football coach Nick Saban today on Get Up said mega conferences might be something they have to deal with in the future. He added he believes realignment is being driven by money and might not be in the best interest of college football as a whole. Thinks a mega conference will create more of a caste system in sports.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now, a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. We are live from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. It is quitting time back home, and we're glad that you were driving home with us. Alabama, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Mississippi State, they took their turn today here at SEC Football Media Days, and we've put it off long enough. I did try to lead the show today with Nick Saban and Alabama and their day. And I started, if you go back and listen to or watch the very open of the show, I was probably 60 seconds into the show. And then Mississippi State linebacker Nathaniel Watson walked up. And so I very quickly pivoted and we interviewed him. And so, no, you didn't hear this? That's Buki. It's Buki. I know. I told him. So there. Anyway, Nathaniel Watson, the line. Rivers and I were having this conversation. His nickname is Bookie. I'm like, Bookie. Like, that's interesting that it's like Bookie for a kid. And Rivers said, maybe it's Buki. And sure enough, it's Buki. His dad was Buki, so his mom called him Lil Buki. Anyway, it is why I say this often. Sorry to be repetitive, but it is why I love this event. I love getting the opportunity to talk to players that we otherwise would never have the opportunity to visit with and learn their stories. And, like, if you missed Dakereon Joyner from South Carolina, who we visited with, and we just played that interview for you a little bit ago, he was a massively impressive kid. This was a highly regarded recruit who has been a team guy. He's stayed for his 5th year. He's switched positions. He's a dynamic athlete. And he's over here. Like, in the many years that we've been sitting here on Radio, I see a lot of guys walk up with rings on, championship rings. Like, a lot of guys wear their championship rings to this event. And so when Dakereon Joyner sat down and said, "What's the ring?" thinking, maybe it's the Duke Mayo Bowl ring. It was his class ring because he graduated from South Carolina. He was wearing his class ring. Like, he's like, "That's my education. They can never take it from me." Like, you pull for that guy. He has priorities in life aligned, and he's going to do great things even if it's not in football because of that, and I think that's cool. Okay. But then there's also the evil empire, and it's Nick Saban, and they win every year, and they're going to win again this year. When the projected order of finish comes out, it'll be Alabama, projected to win the SEC again, even though Georgia's the defending – well, Alabama's the defending SEC champion. Georgia is the defending national champion, obviously. But Bama's going to be picked to win it again, as well they should be. One thing, if you missed it, that Tony Barnhart said with us earlier in the show, which kind of makes you a little scared, is that Nick Saban is hungry. And even at it's why he's the best ever. Even at 70 years old, having won more than any coach in the history of this sport, to still have that drive and fire to be the best is why he is and will always be the best, and also his ability and willingness to evolve as the game evolves. And that's what's happened now with NIL. I was a little surprised that in this college football offseason, the single biggest event that's happened outside of USC and UCLA leaving for the Big Ten, which is transformative, right? That is landscape altering. The biggest thing aside from that has been the Jimbo Nick spat. And Nick Saban was on the main podium for 30 minutes today and did not get asked about it. Now, he did get asked about it again later in the day because you walk around for 4 hours and do interviews. Somebody's going to bring it up. But to be on the main stage for as long as he was and to have not been asked about it once is a little unforgivable. He did, however, he was asked about NIL. And if I haven't done this, and I might do it tonight, but I probably won't. If I go read through Nick's transcript of his time on the main stage today, and I counted the amount of times he referenced value to the players of the program, the word value, like it's a big pile, y'all. I mean, he said value over and over and over and over and over again. And then, and use play number 2, if you would, then when he was asked about NIL, he actually gave a dollar figure of what his players have made.
Well, I don't dislike name, image, and likeness. I'm all for the players. I want players to do well. Our players did extremely well last year. They made over $3 million in name, image, and likeness. So I'm all for the players, being able to do as well as they can and use their name, image, and likeness to create value for themselves. And, we have a great brand at Alabama, so players are certainly, their value there is going to be enhanced because of the value that our brand can help them create. Name, image, and likeness is not an issue for us at Alabama, and our players, I think, did better than anybody in the country last year.
So, by the way, he said the word value 3 times in that one 38-second bite. I'm telling you, he said the word value a bajillion times while he was on the main stage today. And he very candidly said his players made over $3 million. Y'all, Nick Saban is the best because he evolves with the time. And if what the times are getting the best players because of NIL value, he is going to be the best at that. And that is why it should be terrifying, because nothing, not even NIL, will cut Alabama and Nick Saban down. If anything, all that threatens to do is continue to elevate Alabama, because now he has an even greater differentiator, because on top of all the championships and the rings and everything like that, he can go say, I can give you money too. I mean, they're not going anywhere. They brought Bryce Young and Will Anderson here today. Two guys that are going to be up for national awards. Two guys that will likely be top 5 draft picks. Bryce Young, of course, is the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. They had an entourage escorting them everywhere. Like, that was an impenetrable wall that they did not want those young guys doing much media outside of what was asked of them. So Nick Saban, in essence, was and is and usually is the main attraction at Media Day, and certainly when Alabama is here. With respect to on the field, the thing that they have to do, however, this year is rebuild their offensive line. This is 5 Muse, if we could, and Nick Saban did talk about that O-line rebuild.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the biggest challenges is the offensive line rebuild that we need to do. And I'm excited about the coach that we have at that position. You know, Coach Woodruff has done a really good job with the players and relationship building and fundamental progress. We do have some new players that may contribute to that weren't there in the spring. So that's something that we'll have to sort of assess, in fall camp.
Remember, Tyler Steen is the Vanderbilt offensive lineman transfer. He was the starting left tackle at Vanderbilt, who transferred to Alabama and very likely will be their starter on the offensive line. So that's a plug and play. It's an evidence of rich get richer, right? I mean, you need a starting cornerback, you go get 5-star Elias Ricks. You need a left tackle, you go get a veteran starting left tackle from another SEC school. It's how Nick continues to use the current culture and state of college football to his advantage with transfer portal and NIL, and he's doing it better than anyone else, which is in part why it's so impressive that Kirby and Georgia were able to unseat Alabama a year ago. But, what does Georgia do with success? How does Alabama fuel their shortcoming a year ago to maybe propel them this year? We will see. As far as the schedule for Alabama, they open up against Utah State. Before week 2, they go to the University of Texas. That's very reminiscent of how LSU started that 2019 season, where they had a layup at home before they went to the University of Texas in the second game of the season. For Alabama, the schedule rotates in their favor this year. Their East opponents, as always, they play Tennessee. That game is in Knoxville this year, but Vanderbilt rotates on. So Bama's at home against Vandy and at Tennessee. And when you look at their schedule, the most brutal stretch, if I want to even term it that way, is what they have to face in mid-October, or really at the start of October. October 1st, they're at Arkansas. Then a week later, they're home against Texas A&M, and that's going to be a massive game environment because of the Nick Jimbo thing, and because A&M beat Alabama last year. And you better believe that Bama's going to have that game circled and ready to rip. But then a week later, they go to Tennessee after that emotional game, to Tennessee for a rivalry game, and Tennessee likely will be up for it, as you would expect. And then Bama's home against Mississippi State before they have their bye, and they travel back-to-back weeks to LSU and to Ole Miss. So, it sets up really nicely for them. Not that it always does. I know we've talked about it in many years. Nick has bemoaned the amount of times that Alabama's had to play teams that were coming off of a bye. Crimea River, nobody's going to feel sorry for Alabama, but this is a year where the schedule actually does rotate into their favor. And in a year where they're hungry and they return the Heisman Trophy winner and a guy that might be the number 1 overall pick, a freak show defensive end who's going to have 20 sacks, it's hard to make a case for anyone other than Alabama. Now, they got to go do it. They got to win and prove it on the field, and they're picked to win every year. But this year, it just feels very, very obvious. I'm glad that I got that out of the way, and now I can move on and not talk about them anymore. We are at Radio Row for SEC Football Media Days. Our coverage brought to you by Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Tomorrow, it's Arkansas, the defending champion Georgia Bulldogs, the Florida Gators, and their new coach Billy Napier, and, of course, the Kentucky Wildcats will round out the day tomorrow. So it should be a really interesting day. Sam Pittman is coming through here, and we'll get to see KJ Jefferson, who really had a fantastic season a year ago, and might, you could make a case, be that you're behind Bryce Young, the second-best quarterback in the league. I wouldn't put him there at the start of this season, but he had a very good season and looks to build upon that. Arkansas won 9 games a year ago. Can they get to double-digit in year 3 under Sam Pittman? That's their goal. Kirby Smart in Georgia, of course, Billy Napier. I'm thrilled that they're bringing Anthony Richardson. I'm going to be fascinated to hear from that young man who's a freak show athlete, and now you get Billy Napier to see if he can maximize that. That'll be fascinating tomorrow and then Mark Stoops, he's going to bring his quarterback, Will Levis, as well. So all four teams that are here tomorrow are all bringing their quarterback. So when you combine the coaches, the new coach in Billy Napier, the defending national champion in Kirby Smart, all four quarterbacks that I mentioned, tomorrow is a really big day here at SEC Football Media Days. We're looking forward to it. All right, it is after further review. When we come back, we'll chat with Zacch Pickens, a former number 1 defensive line prospect in the country, a 5-star, the number 8 overall player in the 247 composite, who chose his home state Gamecocks. And South Carolina, year 1 under Shane Beamer, won 7 games. How do they build upon that? We'll talk to their great defensive lineman, Zacch Pickens, when we continue here on AFR from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, Seagoneer Airline, LA16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. They got full greenhouses. We had Drew's birthday party this past weekend. It's sort of a pool party outdoors. Erica loves to make sure that the whole thing is decorated like to the nines. That includes all of the flower beds and the patio pots. So if you want those beautiful summer flowers, you can get them. Now, as we're in the heat of the summer, if you're having issues with your lawn, black spots on your lawn, there's brown spots on your lawn, Clegg's and their horticulturists, they will know what the issue is. So you can always just go into Clegg's and ask questions if you have any issues with your lawn or garden. That's at Clegg's Nursery. Remember, at Clegg's, they got garden decor, and, of course, they're partnered with True Value Hardware Stores. So anything you find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. For more than 60 years, buy local, shop local, tell them Matt sent you into Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at Revelry.
Live from the 2022 SEC Football Media Days, presented by Hudco Roofing. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Back live from Radio Row SEC Football Media Days. Our coverage brought to you by Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Pleasure to be joined on Radio Row by South Carolina defensive lineman Zacch Pickens. How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. All right, I didn't anticipate going this way, but my wife just texted me. Like, literally, she sent me this. Who is this guy? I love him.
Oh, Coach Beamer.
It's the TikTok. Did y'all do this morning?
We definitely did. We did that
this
morning.
Like, you want to talk about the value of this? And so for those who haven't seen it, Shane Beamer, what did y'all do? Talk me through this.
It's something that Justin King came up with. He was like, hey, we want to do that. Let's do it.
Shane Beamer, walks into the room. Y'all hand him glasses, a backwards hat. Are those sparklers?
Yes, sir, it is.
What is going on with this?
I don't know. I guys come up with it, and they want to do it. So we were like, hey, why not?
My wife, who knows nothing about she didn't know that was Shane Beamer. She's like, who is this guy? I love him. That's phenomenal.
The crazy thing is that's how Coach Beamer is. Coach Beamer is like that cool, laid-back coach.
Is that why? Because he has this reputation, right, of being a great recruiter and really players love him. Is that why? He has. Clearly he's fun. Has a magnetic personality.
Yeah. Oh yes, Coach Beamer is like one of those guys. You be like, man, I love to get some drinks with that guy. Like, Coach Beamer is just a great guy. I like Coach Beamer. That's my boy.
But you were recruited by Coach Muschamp, the former staff. So whenever you go through a transition from the coach you committed to, right, to then a new staff, what was that like for you?
For me, it was all being loyal to South Carolina. Even if Coach Muschamp would have left or stayed, I would have still been there. I already gave them my word that I was staying, so it was no need to me to leave because I kind of wanted to see what Coach Beamer was going to do, and it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, look, when you were coming out, I think most people probably know this. If you follow recruiting, it's like you were the number one defensive lineman in the country.
Yeah,
from the state of South Carolina, but a top 10 player in the composite. You're as big as it comes as a recruit. I can tell though, it sounds like it means a lot for you. Was that the pull, just to play for your home state?
Yes, sir. It's either that or I just wanted to stay close where my mom could come see me, or my dad or my brother could drive down and see me. I didn't want to stay too far. They got to fly. Then they get confused. And I'm like, I don't know which way to go, this and that. But I want to stay close that they could drive and see me.
You know what, man? It's funny because over the years at this event specifically, we've seen Jadeveon Clowney, we've seen Stephon Gilmore, we've seen Marshawn Lattimore or Marcus Lattimore. We've seen guys who were 5-star elite players, all from the state of South Carolina. Mm-hmm. What is it about what's in the water, man? It ain't a big state, but y'all got some dudes.
I don't know what's in the water, but I just want to say thank my parents.
Thank you for loving each other in that moment, which is why we're here. Let's talk a little bit about this season. You all surprised a lot of people last year.
We did.
I don't know how much you pay attention to point spreads and all, but the Vegas win total for you guys last year, I think, was 2.
Yes.
And you end up winning the bowl game, getting to 7.
Come on. Yeah.
So you surprised a lot of people. Did you all surprise yourselves even a little?
No, it was no doubt that we could have win more, but we got either we was messing up on our part, and then there was a few little miscommunications. It was all on us. When we lost, it was because of us. It's what we did, and when it don't go that way, it just go downhill right after that.
Yeah.
So they just keep scoring, and we can't score, and it just turned out to be a bad game for us. So.
When you have someone like yourself, by the way, I love that you're a big dude that rocks a single digit. Do you love this? Why have you always worn a single digit?
Yes, I've been 6 since high school.
Okay, why?
My brother had 6.
Was he a defensive lineman too?
Nah, my brother is short.
Okay.
My brother's 5'9".
Whoa. What are you, 6'4"? What are you listed at? 6'4", 315?
Yes, sir.
How big is your brother?
He is 5'9" and 190.
Bro, you want to talk about getting like the short straw? Poor guy. Does he play?
He used to. My brother played here. He did play at Allen. Now he's just done.
All right.
But my brother, he played DB, but my brother played everything.
Okay.
So.
Well, all right, it worked out for him too. He maximized his ability. Never mind. Okay, I take that back. That's wild though, dude.
Yeah.
So all right. So your brother wore 6, so you wanted to wear a single digit.
I had to get 6. It was only right. There was like high school. They was like get 6. You'd be like KP. I'm like, then give me 6 then.
There you go. So do you feel like you model your game after anybody? Like, do you watch film of, like, great defensive? Like, do you watch Aaron Donald? Like, do you watch these guys try to pick up stuff?
One JC always said was I look like Fletcher Cox. And
it's a good comp.
When I look and watch, I'm like, yeah, I kind of do some of the similar stuff that he does. Yeah. So I'm like, I guess so. You can say that.
So when you go into a season like this, which, I mean, could be your last season. I mean, everybody gets an extra year for COVID. But, like, do you set personal goals? Like, do you set a goal like I want to have this amount of sacks, or I want to be an All-American, or like do you set is that something that you focus on?
I do. I want to retire my jersey. That's how good I want to play.
Interesting.
So I'll be trying to figure out like how can I get it retired. I'm trying to like get that 6 retired. So that's like my highest goal right now, to get 6 retired.
You know, it's interesting. I love the answer because like, you know, doing this enough years, there's some guys who are pretty open that they have personal goals, which is cool, and some guys don't, and that's cool. But like, that's pretty awesome. I'm sure South Carolina fans would love to hear that. I mean, if that's the goal and ambition, the state guy getting to do that at the state school. What about for the team? Like, so year 1 under Shane Beamer, like we said, like you surprised a lot of people, maybe not yourselves, but you get to 6-6, you win the bowl game against North Carolina. By the way, I was talking to Dakereon earlier about him playing quarterback in the bowl game. Dude, what was it like watching him run around?
I don't know how the stuff, like all the stuff he did, I don't know how he did it. I'm just glad he on our team.
Yeah. For those that missed it, Dakereon Joyner went to South Carolina as a quarterback, had been a receiver his career, and then he had injury, he got opt out, and then boom, like he's playing quarterback for the bowl game, and he's the MVP of the bowl game. I mean, it was
like, wow, we need to put him at quarterback more often then.
Spencer Rattler may have something to say about that right now.
Probably. Yeah. He was like, man, I'm the guy now.
What's it been like having Spencer as a teammate so far?
Spencer, it's been like just chill. Like Spencer's like my dog now. You know, like every time I see Spencer, we both start laughing for no reason. just start laughing, and our friendship got closer. You know, he came in to our program looking to work, and that's all we needed was somebody to work, and he's willing to work.
So I was starting to ask you about team goals. So you all get to the bowl game last year. Year 2 under Shane Beamer now. How do you build on that? Like, what are you all internally saying to each other?
Like, keep going. Like, don't be satisfied with 7. That's our first time getting that high, but we need to figure out how we can beat the teams and stop beating ourselves. Because some games we do, like, just beat ourselves. Like, blown coverage was, or a run hit dead in one of our gaps. Maybe, like, a missing block, and that hurts us. And it's all about us getting better.
Yeah. You like Sandstorm? Was that a yes or a no?
I do.
Okay. All right.
Come on.
It's pretty lit, man.
Come on.
Like, whenever they start playing it, the towels start waving.
What?
Williams-Brice is a sneaky underrated environment, man. It is sneaky underrated. You know what I'll say about South Carolina, dude? Even in years, like when I was in college, South Carolina was very bad. Like, I think Lou Holtz at the beginning, their first season was winless. But, bro, they still put 80,000 people in that stadium, even when they're good.
The crazy thing is when you walk in there and you just see, especially when they play it, when you see that, you're like, oh my God. Then don't let them do the mixtape. Oh my God, they go crazy like that. That's like the best thing to see. I'm like, wow. You just only thing you see is that. Then they just go crazy. That's like the best thing to see, I swear. Like, you just walk up in there, you don't know nothing else, just look around, just see people just throwing towels.
Well, I wish at some point you got to play. You play in Tiger Stadium at a night game, which can get pretty lit at times.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
But I appreciate a couple minutes today. Have a great season, and best of luck in the future.
Oh, yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
AFR.
Go.
Listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Remember, working with Darren James obligates you to nothing. If at any point you're not thrilled with the process, no worries, fire him. He'll let you out of the contract free and clear, no questions asked. But you won't. There's a reason that Darren James is on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America. That's not subjective, by the way. That's based on the number of homes sold. It's because he gives every one of his clients a Ritz-Carlton-like experience with real estate. It's like the Disney World of real estate. He's always available. When I say always, I mean call a dude at 2 a.m., he's going to answer your call at 2 a.m.
15.
That's just Darren James. It's how he's built his business on trust and respect and customer service.
10.
And it comes through every single time. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Think real estate, think Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Rejuvame, we specialize in medically monitored hormone replacement therapy, giving you the energy you need for all life's challenges. We can help get your day started. 1, 2, 1, 2.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers.
Live from the 2022 SEC Football Media Days, presented by Hudco Roofing. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 888-293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Day 2, SEC Football Media Days. One of my favorite things about coming here is I always get to see this gentleman in person. He's Lynn Scarbrough from Lindy's Magazine. How are you?
Matt, doing great.
Every year.
Always good to see you.
It's great to see you. Every year we always talk, and I love kind of talking about not only the history of Lindy's, but how it's just amazingly grown and continues to do so, and the amount and the volume of stuff that y'all put out every single year. I would assume no different this year?
Yeah, no, it's not. And actually, we're blessed because print is not what it used to be.
True.
And we've been doing this is our 41st year to put out Lindy's publications. We're the largest guy in the field in the country that does what we do. There's a long list of companies or publications that used to exist that don't exist anymore. I mean, some big names that were staples that don't exist anymore. And we'll sell, between our football, baseball, and basketball magazines this year, Matt, we'll sell 750,000.
That's incredible.
Our total audience off of our reader survey is about 2.3 to 1 readership, so we got an audience of about 1.6, 1.7 million. And the Lindy's Football Report radio network, which we're privileged to be on your station, and we appreciate that greatly. We've grown now. Last year we had more than 100 stations in 14 states, and you just can't throw a magazine out there anymore like you could when we started. I've been with Lindy 32 years, and back then I don't think we had a website at all. We didn't do any kind of digital stuff. We never even thought about doing a radio network. And you just can't throw a magazine out there anymore. And I think a lot of the publications that don't exist anymore weren't reactive. They didn't move with the times. And we now have digital magazines for some of our copies. We have a very active website. We have we've got this radio network. This is our 10th year with the radio network. We started 10 years ago with 13 stations in 2 states. And we had over 100 last year in 14 states.
It's incredible.
And we're blessed that Lindy Davis is a good publisher. He basically, we have a small staff, but our staff knows what it's doing, and Lindy gives us the freedom to do our jobs. And his daddy started this company with him in 1981. And first magazine came out in 82, and Lindy's daddy's name is on that magazine.
That's awesome.
And his daddy died a number of years ago, and I was at the funeral. Lindy gave a tremendous eulogy to his dad. And he takes a lot of pride in it, and we all do. And, we're one of the big guys in what we do, but we're a small company. We've got, there'll be more janitors on the floor of this building than we've got in our entire employees. And that's not a joke. That's the literal truth. But we're going to put out a quality product. And so I think, if you didn't put out a quality product, everything we do is going to have mistakes in it. And we'll talk about it in a minute. The magazine this year has probably got more inaccuracies in it than ever before. There's a reason for that. But as long as you try to make sure what you do is correct, up to date, attractive, and objective, then that's all you can do. And we're going to try to do that with our magazines. We're going to try to do that with our website. We're going to try to do that with our radio stations. And
well, it shows clearly all the effort and attention that goes into the many Lindy's products, as you mentioned. We're thrilled to have, of course, the radio show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge during the football season. We're looking forward to that because, of course, football season is almost upon us.
Yep.
Brian Kelly made his SEC Media Days debut yesterday. Did you have any observations or
opinions?
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the one thing. Several things I could point out, but I liked one thing particularly that he said. He said basically that I've heard criticism. I'm paraphrasing. I've heard criticism that I'm not a good fit here. That I'm from the North, that I'm from Notre Dame, and I'm not a good fit for coming down here in the South and in the SEC. And he said, in my time here, I've noticed that really there's 3 things most important down here: food, family, and football.
That's about right.
and he said, best I can tell, he said, I'm pretty much about food, family, and football. He said, so I think I'm a real good fit down here. And so I really liked it. The fact he put some humor into this thing, but that's a valid point. And Nick Saban, he ain't South. He's West Virginia and Michigan State. You can now, but on the other hand, Brett Bielema was very successful at Wisconsin, and he came to Arkansas, and he probably wasn't a real good fit.
Yeah.
So it depends on the personality of the guy. But I like the fact that he came in, kind of making fun of himself, but putting in the light, saying, "Guys, I think I'm a fit for y'all. Give me a chance." My concern, and I'm kind of a quasi LSU guy because I'm with y'all. I write some for Tiger Rag magazine.
Sure. That's how we met back many years ago with
right.
Matt DeVille.
That's right. And I want LSU fans. LSU fans are a lot like Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, the traditional powers of the conference over the years. You're impatient. Particularly when you're paying somebody $9 million a year. But be fair. Y'all be fair. Y'all that are listening to me now, be fair. Give the guy a honeymoon. Don't give him 5 years of honeymoon, but give him more than 5 months of honeymoon.
Right.
I mean, you opened with Florida State. It is at New Orleans, but it's a neutral field supposedly, and you got 4 SEC road games to Tennessee, Florida, Auburn, and is it Arkansas or Alabama?
Arkansas and A&M. Tennessee comes to Baton Rouge.
Arkansas and A&M. But I mean, great day. You're looking, you're going to play at Arkansas, A&M, Florida, and Auburn, and you're still then going to play Tennessee and Alabama. I mean, give me and Florida State. I mean, and you've got a new coaching staff coming in. You've got new coordinators on offense and defense. You lost a lot of players to transfer portal and graduation, and you're playing the schedule I just gave. Guys, that's not the formula for winning 10 games and competing for the SEC.
Right.
Now, LSU's going to have a better than average team, and I think they'll win some games. They'll probably go to a bowl game. And they may fool me, and they may win the conference championship, but be reasonable.
Yeah, LSU is not going to be a trendy pick, and for all the reasons you just mentioned. And I think for some portion of the fan base, that reality check likely will come at some point. But but if they surprise you, Lynn, they'll surprise me and a lot of other people. My big question in the West is we all know it's Alabama. I mean, and look, I mean, they get Tennessee and Vanderbilt this year. From the East, the schedule plays out, and they're the best. And the Bryce Young's, we get it. Who's next in the West? It is.
Okay, this is going to sound ridiculous. I'm going to say Texas A&M.
Okay.
But you could put the other 6 teams in, and they all have enough good players that you could shake them out, and any one of them that lands second wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
I'll be surprised if it's not A&M or Arkansas.
Okay.
But it wouldn't shock me. Arkansas has got a really good quarterback. They've got an improving defense, and they've got a mindset that they're getting better. A lot of it, Matt, depends on what you think. If you go out on a field and you think you may lose, you're probably going to lose. If you go out and think you're going to win, you may not win, but you're more likely to than if you go out there already conceding the field. Okay, and Arkansas for a number of years there kind of conceded the field, but they're coming back now. I think Sam Pittman is a real good fit for Arkansas because he wants to be there. He's not a guy that's looking for a stepping stone to go somewhere else, which they've had 2 or 3 coaches that were.
Sure, that's a great point.
And so he wants to be there. He's got them thinking they can win. But it wouldn't – listen, Mississippi State's got some good players. Mike Leach's offense is always dangerous. Auburn's got good players. I mean, I covered them, for us, and they're a good ball team. The thing is, you can be a pretty good ball team in the SEC West and lose 5 or 6 games. You can be a decent team and have no guarantee you're going to have a winning season in the Southeastern Conference, particularly when you're playing the teams that they're playing. Auburn, for example, the 2 teams that played for the national championship were Georgia and Alabama. Auburn plays both of them on the road. and in September, Penn State comes to town.
Lynn, I've said this on a lot of different stations. I think Alabama is going to win the West, and I wouldn't be surprised if everyone else was 4-4 in the league.
No, me too. I agree.
It's just kind of that way in the West. What about in the East? I mean, and Lynn Scarbrough, Lindy's magazine, is with us. It's Georgia, right? And I don't know that there's an obvious team ready to unseat them, but who would be next?
I don't think there's anybody ready to unseat them, but I'm going to tell you who my dark horse is.
Okay.
Kentucky.
All right.
Here's why. When we make predictions, the 2 factors that in my mind, when I throw my 2 cents worth in, are what do you have for your upper class leadership, particularly at the skill positions, and your schedule? Who do you play? Where do you play them? Okay. Kentucky's got Levis.
Yeah, Will Levis.
Levis, okay. He's good. I'll be surprised if when the vote comes in Thursday, the two top running backs in the conference aren't Tank Bigsby from Auburn and Rodriguez from Kentucky.
Sure.
So you're bringing.
Rodriguez led the league.
That's exactly right.
He should be.
That's
yes.
exactly right. So you're bringing in a proven quarterback. Now I think he had some injury stuff, but if he produces, and Rodriguez, defensively, Kentucky was one of the top defenses in the conference last year, and they don't lose a lot off of that. Their schedule. The three traditional powers in the West, in my mind, are Alabama, LSU, and Auburn over the years.
Sure.
They don't play any of those. They don't play Texas A&M. They don't play Arkansas. They play Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and they get one of them at home. Their 4 non-conference games are 2 MAC teams, one of which didn't win but 3 games. I don't remember which one it was. Youngstown State.
Okay, FCS.
At FCS. And their Power 5 opponent is their in-state opponent, Louisville, who hasn't won half its games in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And they play them in Lexington. They play at Florida, they play at Mississippi, and they play at Tennessee. Now, and they play at Georgia, which I'm assuming is a loss.
Okay.
No. Georgia comes to Lexington. But I'll give them, they could have 3 conference road losses.
Okay.
But I don't think they'll lose. I'm not sure that Tennessee and Florida is better than Kentucky. They haven't been the last couple of years. And so it gets to the thing we said a minute ago about mindset on Arkansas. Stoops and his staff has Kentucky football thinking they can win.
That's very true.
And they won 10 last year, I think.
They did.
And they won like 9 maybe the year before that. And I got some close Kentucky friends. And almost any day of the year, they can tell me when they have that Big Blue Nation Midnight Madness at Rupp Arena.
Yeah.
And they can tell me, it's 78 days now, it's 112 days now. Well, now they can tell me how long it is till football starts.
Yeah, they're ready.
And last year, they weren't the bell cow in football. I mean, in basketball. They were good.
Yeah.
But they had several SEC teams beat them last year. But in football, look out. So I could see Kentucky. I think a worst case scenario for Kentucky is to win 8 games, which is a really good year for them in normal times. But with a break here or there, they can win 10 ball games and finish 7-1 in the SEC.
That happens. You're talking New Year's 6 at a place like Kentucky, which would be amazing to watch.
Right.
Lynn Scarbrough, Lindy's Magazine. Always a pleasure to visit. Make sure you pick up Lindy's. Newsstands everywhere, but online as well.
Yeah, we don't have an unlimited inventory.
Okay.
But we do get a lot extra in the office. So if you have not seen the publication on newsstands, call us or go to the website. You can order on the website. And I'll throw this in there too. If there's a Michigan State fan in our audience, we have a Big Ten magazine.
Okay.
If there's a Oregon Ducks fan, we've got a National College magazine. So, we're Southeastern, our footprints here, and sometimes I slip up and say we when I mean the SEC, right. And I have to guard myself and say, wait, you can't do that. But we're not just Southeastern; we're nationwide, and so if you're a pro fan, if you're a Denver Broncos fan, come get your Broncos edition. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan, come get your Buffalo Bills edition.
If you're a USC and UCLA fan, get your Big Ten
edition.
Lynn Scarbrough exactly right. From Lindy's Magazine. Thank you as always.
All right, man. I always enjoy it.
AFR.
Go.
AFR is brought to you by Schutz Electric. It stormed in Atlanta today. I mean, I don't know if y'all could hear the kabooms coming through the mic, but had we lost power back home at the house, wouldn't have to worry about it. We got a home standby generator from Schutz Electric. Just had it installed. I keep telling you this. Working with Schutz was incredible. The communication, the level of customer service was above and beyond. And for me, that's valuable. A lot of places might be able to sell you a generator. The customer service is always a differentiator for me. And the other thing, which you may not know, which I didn't know, is when you install a whole home generator, it's not just come plug it in. I mean, there's connection to the gas meter that has to happen. You have to get permits from the city. You have to contact your electric company. Schutz did all of that. They handled all of it from the beginning. Schutz Electric, CESofLA.com. Get your estimate for that home standby generator, CESofLA.com. For Schutz Electric, again, online, CESofLA.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
The best things in summer are unofficial. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
For over 53 years, customers have been heading to Happy Town for the Corval Toyota experience. Why? Because they choose to get an outstanding price and amazing customer service. Want the same and get treated like family? Then Corval Toyota in Opelousas is the dealership for you. Corval vehicles have been cruising around Acadiana for 5 decades. Corval Toyota is here to stay, and we want to keep you rolling. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA.
Live from the 2022 SEC Football Media Days, presented by Hudco Roofing. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. Our coverage all week brought to you by Hudco Roofing. Many thanks to all of our guests today. Commissioner Greg Sankey, David Cutcliffe, who, as we learned, is self-described the Dwight Schrute of the SEC. The assistant to the commissioner on football relations, special assistant to the commissioner on football relations, something like that. But he was fantastic. Really enjoyed Tony Barnhart and a slew of players from Dakereon, Joyner, Zacch Pickens, Lynn Scarbrough, who you just heard, Nathaniel Watson, linebacker from Mississippi State. It's a great day. If you missed any of it, AFR On Demand is presented by Brett Golf. Mike Leach, we've been trying, a lot of coaches have had an opinion on Brian Kelly coming into the league. Here's what Mike Leach had to say earlier today.
Yeah, I've known Brian for years. I didn't realize he was as good a dancer as he is, but I'm excited to see that. And heck, you think you know a guy, right? And then So I don't know. I mean, he's a guy that's focused, very focused on football, and he's an X and O guy, and so yeah, he does a good job. So and our league's full of quality coaches.
It's been a consistent theme with everybody who has been asked about Brian Kelly. It has been maybe some joking about the dancing thing. Clark Lee said something similar, but tons of respect, which is very, very cool to see. Big day tomorrow. The defending champ, Georgia Bulldogs, will be here. Billy Napier and the Florida Gators will be here. We'll also have a chance to talk to the Arkansas crew as they look to build on a 9-win season, and Kentucky rounds out the day. I want to remind you about DraftKings, the official sportsbook of AFR, where DraftKings right now, use the promo code Baton Rouge, and you can get up to $1,000 risk-free on your first bet at DraftKings. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. MLB All-Star Game is tonight. If you want to bet on that, you can certainly do it. When the second half of the Major League season gets underway, if it's golf or anything that you care to wager on, you can do so at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and be sure to use the promo code Baton Rouge. Again, that's how you unlock the great special, but it's also how they know we sent you. Same game parlays, the more legs you add, the more you can win. It's all at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge.
21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP.
All right, hey, before we get out of here, Muse, help me. Thank you and Paul for the great work back in studio. Thanks to Rivers here on site as well, who's done awesome work for us. Muse, help me out. Give us an update, if you would, on the draft today.
Yeah, so draft is in the books. Carter Young ended up going in the 17th round. So decision there that I would imagine might see him back. Who knows? And then Jaden Newt was the last Tiger off the board in the 19th round by the Brewers. The Brewers, who selected 3 LSU signees. They need to chill, but wait and see. Wait and see what happens there, Matt. He was the 79th overall prospect and went 590th. So we'll see what happens there with Jaden Newt.
Usually pretty good indicator that he plans to be on campus. I noticed a lot of the signees have tweeted, go Tigers, and pictures indicating that they're going to show up on campus. So all in all, disappointing to lose Paul Gervais after he tweeted that he was coming back to school and then got drafted today by the Mets and deleted that tweet. So we'll wait to see how it all plays out. All right, day 2 for Media Days in the books. Day 3 tomorrow, presented by Hudco Roofing. We'll see you then from Atlanta.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138, or ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Remember, the showroom is now open at Relief Windows on Airline Highway in Prairieville. So if you're on Airline, you're going south out of Baton Rouge, you cross Highway 42, just look to your right, and you will see the big, beautiful building there, the new headquarters of Relief Windows, complete with their walk-in showroom, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, open to the public. If you're interested in energy-efficient replacement windows, if you'd like to add a beautiful entry door, maybe you want to make your home more efficient and you never want to paint ever again, Hardy Plank or vinyl siding is a great option, and Relief Windows does it all, and they never, ever, ever take $1 from you until they're done and you're thrilled with the work. That's at Relief Windows. 288-8138 or ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com.
At Rejuvame, we specialize in medically monitored hormone replacement therapy, giving you the energy you need for all life's challenges. We can help get your day started. 1, 2, 1, 2.